Now, all the operations that we do with real numbers, we can do with complex numbers. Okay, we can add, subtract, multiply, divide. Let's go ahead and do some examples. It's very straightforward if you just remember a couple of basic rules. First of all, adding. When adding or subtracting, when you are working with two complex numbers, we just add or subtract the real parts and the imaginary parts. So when adding, we just take our real part here is 4 and 1. And that's what we add. So 4 plus 1, which is 5. And then the imaginary parts, we've got 7i and negative 6i. So 7i plus negative 6i is just positive 1i. So the sum of those two complex numbers is 5 plus I. Subtraction works the same way. You take your real part here, 1 minus the real part here. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. And then our imaginary part, 2i minus negative 2i is 2i plus 2i, which is 4i. So that's the difference of those two complex numbers. Multiplication takes a little bit more work, but we know everything we need in order to do multiplication because it's just multiplying two binomials. Okay, we've got two things with two terms and we can multiply them. And that's, of course, done just through FOIL. We take 2 times 4, which is 8. And we take 2 times 3i, which is 6i. And we take negative I times 4, which is negative 4i. And we take negative I times 3i, and this is negative 3i squared. And this is where it gets kind of fun. First of all, we can combine our like terms here. So 6i minus 4i is 2i. But then we've got this I squared. And remember that the definition of I is that it's the square root of negative 1. So I squared, well, if you square a square root, you just get the thing underneath. So I squared is equal to negative 1. That's the definition of I. The imaginary unit is the thing that if you square it, you get negative 1. So this right here, minus 3i squared, is actually minus 3 times negative 1, which is, of course, positive 3. And we can combine that with the 8. So 8 plus 3 is 11. And so we get 11 and then plus the 2i. And that's the sum, or sorry, the product of these two complex numbers. Okay, we can do the same type of thing here. We just have the square of a complex number, but it works the same way as the multiplication. Okay, we've got 3 plus 2i times 3 plus 2i. So we just distribute everything. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 2i is 6i. And we get another 3 times 2i, so another 6i. And then we have 2i times 2i, which is 4i squared. Okay, and now we can simplify. We've got here 6i plus 6i is 12i. And then we've got 9, and then this right here, this is actually minus 4 because I squared is negative 1. So we get 9 minus 4, which is 5. So that 3 plus 2i squared is 5 plus 12i.